Welcome to the regular meeting of the Recreation Parks Commission. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Roll call.
Commissioner Kelly Watson,
She is absent tonight.
Commissioner Julie Stolnick,
Present.
Commissioner Dave Loops,
Present?
Vice Chairperson Lee Davis,
Present?
and Chairperson Bob Mota.
I'm here. Thank you. Public communications related to commission business only, and that is within the subject matter under the jurisdiction of the commission. Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close public communications. Consent calendar. Approval of the minutes of the Recreation and Parks Commission special meeting of June 1, 2022.
I move we approve the minutes. One small change. It has me making the motion for the approval of the minutes at that meeting. Someone else must have made that motion.
Are you going back into the minutes?
Yeah.
For the last approval?
The approval of the minutes says motion by Commissioner Lubes at that June 1st meeting, and I wasn't at the June 1st.
He wasn't there.
Okay.
So it must
That
be
was,
one.
I believe it was me. That
That
was,
would be very good of you to be able to do that.
all right.
That is pretty impressive.
There we go.
Thank you for clarifying. You must have mistaken.
Okay, so we can fix that. And that was Vice Chair Davis. Any other changes?
Well, down at the ES plaque, it shows just Commissioner Davis instead of Vice Chair, if you want to change that. At the bottom.
Right. But he is also a commissioner, though. All right. With those changes, is there an approval?
I so move.
He wasn't here.
What's that?
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Sorry.
It's 4-0, even though. Okay. New business, AYSO plaque. The recommendation from staff is to approve it, and who will be speaking on that?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Tonight we have Sean Green back to do another presentation on another plaque for AYSO to be mounted out at Campus El Segundo. They did very well this year, so I will turn it over to Sean. We also have Shad here tonight if you have any further questions.
So I guess we just need to win some championships. You guys get to see me more often. So it's 2 years, and now I get to see you 2 months in a row. So good evening, Commissioners. Thanks for having us again this year, or this evening. I am here to present about the AYSO plaque that we will put at Campus El Segundo. We have a couple of them if you've ever been out there right near the staff bathrooms, between the staff bathrooms and the snack bar. Here's an example. Ms. Stolnick, like we talked about, it'll be that bronze color like the Little League one and the one that's in the picture in front of you guys. So it is our 12U Western States Championship. So California, Nevada, Washington, all those kind of Western states. So they won in April 21st, 2022. So a pretty deep run, pretty exciting. It's the last couple years. You can see the girls won a couple years ago. So that will be located potentially at Campus El Segundo. Araceli already brought up our AYSO president, Shad McFadden's here if there's any questions, but I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, so if people are looking, that's what it's gonna look like, except it's gonna be bronze, just like, bronze color, just like that, to match it.
Correct.
Sorry, I guess I need my mic on. Shad, did you want to say anything? Step right up. I never asked. And I wanted to ask.
No specific comments. I think, every time we have one of these runs, it sort of catches a little buzz, and the kids are excited. And the boys, there was conversation after as they were winning. They're like, if we go all the way, do we get to win the plaque? And so they're 12-year-old boys for starters, so they're definitely their own microphones of their accomplishments. But it kind of, we've been leveraging that, the area, with Manhattan, Redondo, Westchester, Hawthorne, like in those meetings, like they always announce people that go far. Manhattan Beach is a pretty powerful program. They have 3,000 kids every year. And so they go far a lot. And this year, we just had a good run. We were with them. We lost to them in like 4 of the 6 finals in league play. And then we were the only other group that made it. So we're now in the area rotating AYSO, sort of the picture of the boys winning. And so it's kind of, I guess, they're really excited just at the concept of it. And, we didn't say it's coming, but, we are using that to our advantage to make sure kids know, every time we have a good run, we let the community know, and they get pretty excited about it. So that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you.
Has the plaque already been ordered?
It is in process.
Is it too late to change anything on the plaque?
I don't know that it is too late to change. We can do whatever.
Because I just had a couple comments on the actual plaque itself. I definitely support it, but the first one is, I'm sorry, I'm OCD. Take away the spaces between the 2021 and the 2022, just so if it's going to be by this plaque, try to make it have the same type of matching with the years, I think, just for consistency's sake. And then I know that this girls 12 team was Western State champions. It's too bad it doesn't say Western State champions on it, because they were, that year they were. That's unfortunate. So that can stay like that. But then also maybe put BU12 All-Stars rather than B12 League.
So there are 2 different tournaments.
Oh.
So the league teams there's 2 tournaments. The league team is when you have your, all the fair teams. Those teams start a tournament that keep going forward. All-Stars are a second tournament. It's the All-Star program. So you pick the best kids from every age division. We actually had a team that was put together, and they won the El Segundo, obviously, and they're the ones that kept going forward, and they won the league championship.
So is that the Tournament of Champions that you're referring to? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just the league team went on?
All the league teams keep going on up till Western Estates now.
Oh, because it used to stop after the local, so now it's extended. Oh, okay, cool.
I think this might be the first time we've won.
Oh, I get it. So this is a regular league team.
Boys that are
Cool.
All-Stars and boys that are, not yet. So yeah, I think it's the first time we've done.
Oh, wow, okay, that's great. Cool. Thanks. I'll make a motion to approve this plaque. They deserve it. Did we already make a motion?
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
That's 4-0. Congratulations.
Just consider the amendments that we talked about, so there's consistency.
Will those be in notes so I can double check the specifics of that? I didn't jot anything down.
It's really just.
Yeah, you,
So if you're making changes on it, because I used to have a sign company, the fonts are not exactly the same. So if you're changing things, you might as well change it to the same fonts. So one is an extended and one is a bold.
Sounds good. And I think in the way we put it forward, make it like the last one, and we just put together this PDF for the actual verbiage. So, knock on wood, they already have the fonts lined up, but we'll make that note, and we'll definitely change the number.
perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Okay, so that was approved. Moving on to number 2 of new business. Sponsorship program. The recommendation, it's a receive and file. Who will be speaking on that one?
Yes, Commissioners, this evening we'll have Ryan Delgado go through a presentation for our sponsorship program. We took some time, John, Ryan, and me, to go through our present sponsorship program, and we wanted to tighten it up a little bit so that it made sense, and there was some defined expectations at each level. So tonight, Ryan will go through all of the levels and explain, and if you have any questions, we're here to answer those questions.
Good evening, Commission. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the time. Yeah, as Aracia said, we dove back into our sponsorship program. Our previous director, Meredith Pettit, created this, and we really haven't made some adjustments to the program over the last few years. So taking a look at it and making, those adjustments to kind of fit everything into categories and make it make sense for sponsors and the public. The intention of the sponsorship program is to work with local businesses, nonprofit, community groups to enhance events, programs, and activities put on by the Recreation Department. So, as sponsor money comes in, that's how we get extra rides, extra entertainment. We have a 5th concert this year, and that was entirely through sponsorship. So what we did is we looked at our events in 3 ways. Our events had been priced that they kind of fit into 3 different categories, where 4th of July, summer concerts, holiday tree lighting, those are some of our larger scale events, cost a bit more money, and that's where that $10,000 valuation came for title sponsorship and some of those other pieces. So it kind of goes down the line. Halloween Frolic, Hometowns Fair, a little smaller scale than 4th of July, as well as summer concerts, and then Egg Hunt, Extravaganza, Family Camp Out, and Farmers Market would be less attendant, smaller scale. So those are the 3 different categories and or tiers, I guess, A, B, and C. And then you would have the 4 different sponsorship categories: title, event, community sponsor, and supporter sponsor. So there would be 4 different levels. So new business in town could go to the supporter area and join in that way, where the title sponsor gets different pieces like that, which I'll go over on the next slide.
This is currently in place right now. These are the prices, or these are the new.
These will be the new
New
prices,
ones.
yes. So there is some adjustment on the pricing. Since we put in the program, there had been no adjusting in pricing during the time.
Is that a significant increase?
Not really. The title sponsorship, everything was kind of a fair percentage and just went up. So title sponsorship went from $8,000 to $10,000. Hometown Fair, Halloween Frolic was like a $4,000 to $5,000 change. So kind of minimal, but just within, pricing has gone up in the years that this program has been created. These would be the benefits. So our title sponsor, that would be the main sponsor of the event. You would end up on all promotional and printed materials. So our flyer, anything that's printed, at signage at the event, A-frames, anything we hand out that way will go on. Any sort of social media posts we do, you'll get a shout out through there as well. Sponsor logo on city banner at event. We have a template that we've used for all of our sponsor banners. If you've seen at events, it just says sponsored by with the company logo. So that would be provided to the title and event sponsor. They'd also have the option for booth space at an event to participate and join, as well as recognition here at Commission, where we'd bring them up and thank them and give them some time to speak. And then we will shout out their name at various times throughout the event. Thank you to our sponsor for whatever they provided, arts and crafts or different pieces like that. And then we go down the line, event sponsor, that logo on all the flyers is the main piece, so we're saving that for our title sponsorship. So the event sponsor would not get that, but they would get other pieces of it, and it kind of cascades down. And that's kind of
Ryan,
the piece of it.
do you guys normally take out an ad in the Herald as well?
We will do either the scene or we'll advertise in different publications, and the flyer that goes into those publications would have that logo on it, so that would fall title sponsorship.
Okay.
Any other questions? Then we'll receive and file that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, reports. Aquatic Subcommittee.
There has been no meeting.
Transportation Subcommittee. I don't think there was a meeting for that. Okay, and Youth Sports Council. There was no meeting for that. Okay, going right through these reports. We're doing well. Staff reports. Aracia.
Yes, Commissioners, don't forget that this weekend it is not only Father's Day, but we have our first concert this weekend. Summer camp started this week, so we have a lot of activity in the park as well. So summer is off and running. We're up and running right now, so it's been very exciting. Other than that, swoop will start on,
The beach shuttle swoop will start Monday. I believe the date is the 20th. So, we pushed that through with council last week and then tying up all the contractual pieces this week. Been communicating with swoop about routes and different pieces like that and branding for the buses. And yeah, that'll roll out Monday at 11 a.m.
so we have a beach shuttle as well, so we're excited about that. Other than that, that's all I have. You have my report. If you have any questions, I am here to answer them.
Any questions? Go ahead, Julie.
Well, I don't necessarily have questions. I have some things to address, but I don't know if I do it at this time or my comments at the end. Some would be for Christopher. I could
Okay.
do during his report, or
Were they related to what RCI shared?
park-related lawn bowling.
I would probably do it in your comments.
Okay.
Dave?
I'm sorry if this is a repeat, but how did it turn out? Is it $1 a ride? Just what are the basics?
Rec ID, bring your rec ID. I've been speaking with swoop. We will have paperwork in the vehicle that will show passengers how to get a rec ID if they do not have one, and just working on them to get everybody onto the first round. So just valid rec ID will get you onto the bus.
Cool, that's great.
Mhm.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
$1 if they don't have a but we're trying to get.
Okay. Christopher Henson.
Good evening, Commission. You have my report. A couple updates. The Bretfield Scoreboard has been delayed about a week or so. The support posts were scheduled to go in today, and something with the galvanizing process or company is delayed it at least a week or so. But the actual scoreboard will go up just almost right after the posts go up as well. And staff is working hard to do some prep work for the upcoming pickleball tournament. So we're all excited about that. And I'll take any questions.
Will the scoreboard be up and running in time for the All-Star tournament?
I don't believe so.
So the other one is still hooked up then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you for the lights at Stevenson Field.
Yeah, fine.
Well,
It's not completed.
don't bring that up.
Yeah, we're
So-
gonna.
but it's already brighter.
We like the lights,
Yeah,
but you're just gonna leave the damage to the field.
I'm keeping it positive.
He was trying to.
Thanks.
No.
It's brighter. Now you can see the damage to the field.
Yeah, center field was
It
was
got,
getting
yeah.
bad. It
it
was,
got a
so-
little,
yeah.
It was great that we have lights now.
Yeah.
Thank
Well.
you. Director reports.
I have, first and foremost, so you know, I had mentioned to you last time we met that we are going to try to schedule the joint meeting for the needs assessment, and I had thrown some rough ideas out there. Well, I've got a new rough idea of a time date for you. In trying to coordinate several pieces into one, the consultant one, staff that need to be there, and at some point soon, bringing on a new director. We've targeted August 31st, late in the summer, late in the summer, at 6 o'clock. So that's what I've communicated to the city manager, and we will communicate that to checking council schedules. So barring any other odd things, that's kind of the target date to have that joint meeting to talk about the rec park needs assessment,
Okay.
if that helps.
I'm going to make a recommendation that we don't have our regular meeting that month.
That's certainly within your purview to do so.
So think about that.
Okay.
Who's ever, in fact, I will not be here for regular meeting anyway.
Well,
So-
We can't have a meeting without you.
But if we're gonna be here sometime on that
Month.
night anyway, on the 31st, so
We can agendize it.
for next month. Okay?
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
We'll bring that back for, so that was that, and I also wanted to just share my comments that it's been a fun ride. This is my last commission meeting with you all. I really do enjoy and I've had a lot of opportunities to meet with a variety of commissions and specifically Parks and Recreation Commissions, or in this case, Recreation and Parks Commission. It's oftentimes interchanged. Or even Community Services Commissions. But I really appreciate each and every one of you for volunteering your time. I know you get a very small stipend for participating and serving in a public forum like this, but you know, it doesn't go unnoticed by staff, your efforts and time that you all put in. And you know, you keep it where it's important elements for the community are considered thoughtfully, I think, by each and every one of you as you make decisions. And it's important that the community have an opportunity to voice their opinion too. So I do appreciate your time and effort. I'm sure you won't see the last of me. I know that there's a chance I may be still involved with a few of your other topics, even after this point. The city manager's trying to convince me to help him out in certain areas. So, and then the city manager that's an interim assignment will become the permanent city manager effective next Tuesday.
Okay.
So just FYI, you got one of the two interims hanging around. And I would like you to, at the end of your commissioner's comments, I would like you to entertain if anyone in the audience has a chance to speak, if they have any comments.
Okay.
At the end of your commissioner's comments, just reopen that up, because I'm not sure, Sir, you want to speak tonight, correct?
I don't know what I'm allowed to speak about.
Well, are you here just to observe, or do you have a topic you'd like to bring to the commission?
It's a great question. I have some thought. I'm Chris Hall. I've been emailing you guys.
I assumed you might want to talk about pickleball at some point, so.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know what the rules are.
Well, that's what I'm trying to open the door up for you. So I'm just trying to, so what I'm asking the commission to do is consider, the speaking opportunity was pretty early in the agenda, and I think you just got here and didn't.
And I'm also confused with what's allowed to be talked about.
Okay, and that's, well, I think anything is open game within the purview of recreation and parks. So to help you along, so commission, at the end of your comments, if you wouldn't mind reopening that opportunity for this gentleman, Mr. Hall, to speak to you on his thought, his
Okay.
concern. Okay? Thank you so much. My pleasure.
All right. And I don't see Elias here, so.
No, you will not see Elias here. You know, it's funny about Elias. So now that now that Park Service is coming into our house, I'm not sure you're gonna see a lot of Elias here, only as needed for perhaps big public work projects that we'll be still
Okay.
collaborating on. Well, I could tell you, if you wanted to know anything about the pool heater, Elias would have to tell you. No, just kidding. The city council approved purchase of the pool heaters, I think at their last council meeting.
Purchase or repair of?
Repair of, thank you for clarification. Repair of. Elias at that point had thrown out a time frame of 12 weeks to receive and then to get it in shortly thereafter. So what I think Councilman Grew was trying to hope for is that it would be faster than that, because he's trying to move this project along a little bit. I know that Aracy and I and Linnea have assisted the councilman to host a Zoom call with all the clubs that are involved at our aquatic center, and trying to, continue to communicate with them so that they're aware of what's going on. So we've been told that El Segundo High School has made provisions for games and practices at Maricosta in the early fall. So it is what it is. We're dead in the water at this point. No pun intended.
Can I ask on that, did City of El Segundo pay for those, or did Wiseburn pay for it?
So, great question. There was a fund put together with the agreement that Wiseburn would contribute $40,000 a year for any kind of repairs or that kind of issue, break. And at this point, they had $160,000 put in that, available in that fund. This project for repair is $185,000. So the city is contributing the difference between 160 and 185.
Because originally, wasn't it that we were on the hook for maintenance and repairs? Wiseburn was on the hook for design and build. And it came down with the consultant going over there with Elias and everything, that it was a design and build error, not a maintenance issue. So I thought Wiseburn was going to be on the hook for that. And now that we've opted for a repair because of the timeline, we're now responsible for
Well,
that
I
portion,
think
or we're
what
just
the-
doing that to help out?
Yes, yes to all. Timeline important, yes. It's important to get the pool up as quickly as possible. Secondly, the city manager and the superintendent of Wiseburn have been in discussions, realizing that this may be just a Band-Aid for a bigger issue to be worked on over the course of the next few years. But Wiseburn believes that the repair is all that's necessary based on their consultant's report. So therefore, we have a situation where we're trying to get it open as quickly as possible to then allow the participants back in, and then just keep an eyeball on what's going to happen into the future if it does need a design issue. And Commissioner might have a comment.
So in that statement, we're repairing it and we're working on the future replacement of proper heaters, correct?
If we start to see there to be that issue, that I suspect we will, every winter,
Excellent. Thank you.
then that's the goal. But at this point, the expediency was mostly important, if that made sense.
So just so I understand, the repair is of the current ones, and so we basically know that they're still undersized and that they will still be overworked and they will still fail at some point, and so that's why you guys are talking about this?
We believe
accurate?
that to be true.
Okay,
Wiseburn may not believe that to be
Okay.
true.
got it. They believe, their consultant told them that they are right-sized.
The builder told them.
Ah. Got it. Good luck.
Of course, I mean, who didn't know that this was gonna go this way? Yes, Sean, I did say that. Okay, thank you for your reports. Taking Elias's report too, I appreciate that. It was very helpful. And you want us to do commissioner comments before we,
I thought, you can do it at
Wait.
any time. You can do it now,
why don't we slide it in right now?
perfect time.
We
gonna
are
reopen
going to
the-
reopen public communications, and that is related to commission business. And if it's about pickleball, it is commission business. You're welcome to come up and speak. Please state your name and where you live.
I'm Chris Hall. I live on Mariposa, down by Center Street. Do you need an address, or is that
Nope.
close
We're
enough?
good- good to go.
I don't know the rules. My first time. I appreciate you humoring the ignorance of this is
No,
my first time.
please,
Um,
take your time.
Community is the first listed value of the Recreation and Parks Department. And during COVID, community was obviously difficult to come by, limited options, concerns about being indoors with folks. And a small group of people who at the time barely knew each other began playing pickleball in, I believe it's late March, early April of 2021. We eventually settled into a regular Tuesday night routine, and we played every Tuesday. We settled into a 6 to 8 o'clock slot, followed by going over to El Segundo Brewing Company to support the local economy. It's a group made up primarily of folks with young kids. Many of us are involved in coaching youth sports. I coach a couple of softball teams. We have some guys coaching AYSO teams, none quite as successful as the ones recognized here earlier. But nonetheless, we're involved community members, and this was our community. It's difficult to find a night to get, 8 people together every week. We have a group of 8, that's the core group that comes, reserving 2 pickleball courts. And we have another 3 or 4 people who fill in so that we're always making sure we're making good use of that. In January, I think in response to the excitement around pickleball that we're seeing, and obviously is coming soon with the tournament, some leagues were created to provide opportunities, I imagine, for folks who didn't have a community to begin with to play. And those leagues were originally set up, I believe, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but included one on Tuesdays from 6 to 8, which, as you can imagine, for people who were regularly involved in this, was disappointing. I reached out to the Parks Department and had a really positive interaction with Sean about, hey, what do we do here, right? This is our community. Trying to find other nights is difficult because everyone else is now scrambling for those nights. And also, for the rest of us, we have kids and jobs and other things, and we can't necessarily be available every evening. It's not as simple as, hey, you're used to playing on Tuesdays, just switch to Mondays. It doesn't necessarily work for the rest of us. And in speaking with Sean, he said, look, it's already on the calendar. It is what it is. We have a spring one coming up. Let's see if we can avoid Tuesday nights. They were able to do so. It was great, and we've been playing every single Tuesday since then, no problem. Then the Parks and Rec for the summer thing comes out, and back to Tuesday nights. And I can't speak to all the reasonings behind which nights were chosen, why not a Monday night, why not a Thursday, as I was informed by, Sean. I know they're trying to figure things out, and obviously, as he put it, for every night of the week, there's a Chris Hall who doesn't want his pickleball thing removed, though I am the only person here. So I think our commitment level is high if I'm coming to a commission meeting to talk about that. And I guess I don't know how to phrase the ask or the concern is if community is the focus, if it's locals playing. I don't believe the league is primarily made up of locals. I believe it's primarily people from outside of El Segundo who don't have access to courts regularly, who are paying higher fees. I don't know if the revenue is relevant. I don't know any of the reasoning behind the specifics. I imagine there's an attempt to engage the community. I know that these are really popular sport right now. And so I guess I'm just here to say that while I appreciate the desire to create community through these leagues, there's communities that already exist, and they're being taken away. And so for the next, starting not next week, week after, for the next 6 weeks, our community will be scrambling to connect. We've made friends with people we didn't know. We're actually planning a trip to La Quinta to create a makeshift pickleball tournament in October. This is a real thing that we're really committed to. And I don't know, obviously, personally, my solution is just pick another night and let it be someone else's problem. I don't know that's a long-term solution broadly. And I also don't know if on Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, if those people have the same level of inflexibility, so to speak, that we do, or have built that consistent community, or if they're just picking random nights and showing up. I don't have the data. But you can go back and look at the signups and see the same people signing up for every single week. And so I guess my request is just to figure out a way to not shut down the existing communities and exchange them with higher paying, it feels like a revenue grab from non-El Segundo folks. I can't prove that. I can't see it. I don't think that was the motivation, but on our end of things, it just kind of feels like, man, we expressed how important this was to us. We expressed that we are involved in this and we care about this particular night. And it worked for one 6-week period, but now we're right back again. And if we're doing 4 or 5 of these a year, that's half the year that our community is displaced, so to speak. So I know there's broader conversations about building more courts and whatever else, but in the interim, our community is kind of gone. We can't control the rest of our schedules that well to reorganize around. And even if we did, say, reorganize around Mondays, who's to say, which I don't think we can do, first of all, but if we could, who's to say that in the fall, Mondays won't be the night, and now we're reorganizing around that. That predictability is relevant. So I'm sure whatever there's time limit, I've long exceeded it, and I appreciate all of you hearing me out. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. We appreciate you coming up and taking the time. We actually can't comment on them. So thank you. Okay, and that's exactly where I was going to go. Would staff please take a look, and I'm sure you have, but let's see if we can come up with some kind of help. And again, I'm serious, thank you for coming in, and it's good to hear. We need to hear it. So thank you. Commissioner comments. Julie.
Yes, I have some comments. Just some things that I've noticed around town that I wanted to bring up. It's kind of with Aricia and with Christopher in your departments. Christopher, along Washington from Walnut to Mariposa, there's currently 6 dead trees along the street there, and it looks like 2 more ready to go. The trees, the trunks are like completely split through and everything, and so hoping that those are going to be replaced. And then most of the other trees that are along there, I believe they're red buds, have a ton of suckers down at the bottom. So hopefully that could be trimmed off so that the energy is going up into the tree instead of into the suckers. The other thing is, I notice along Main Street and Grand in the planters, all of the lights are on 24/7, you know, that are up lights for the trees instead of turning off. So I don't know if they're on a timer or if the timer's not working. But the lights are burning all the time, the up lights on the trees. And then I'm wondering, you know, I was standing the other day on my morning walk and standing up at the Joslin parking lot looking down over the park. And I was just looking at our community garden area and wondering why we don't increase the size of that garden. And I know people have talked about it, you know, in the past, wanting a larger garden. And we have all of that room out front. You have the rock, and then you have a bunch of mulch. And I don't really know why it is we can't increase the size. I think it would be utilized. So I would kind of like that to be looked at or addressed, larger community garden. And then, once again, Christopher, and I know we have a new company, and I bring this up all the time because it absolutely drives me nuts. And I have had 2 residents actually ask me about it in the last 2 weeks, about the weeds in the median on PCH. So especially between Holly and Grand, some of those weeds are 18 inches to 2 feet high. And I don't know why that landscape company in the past and the one that we have now, they drop those guys off on the medians and they only take care of the planters, which most of the stuff is dead. Why they can't walk down the median with that weed whacker and take care of those weeds. But it's getting to be embarrassing, the amount of weeds that are in our median on PCH. And that, you know, and I've talked about the dead plants and everything in the medians, and it seems like the bougainvilleas are the ones that do the best. But I think we can do something with some native plants or something that don't need a lot of water, that can thrive on the rainwater. But our PCH medians are not what they should be, in my opinion.
Well, I totally agree. Irrigation system is our biggest challenge. And we recently have met with the new landscape company, and the medians was our #1 topic. We saw their work efforts really lacking on that. So we've had that discussion. I was by there today, and I saw exactly what you were talking about. So seems like we need to have another talk with our
Yeah,
company.
I mean, there were some clumps that were like this big around,
Sure.
you know, and it's ridiculous. But I did have 2 residents say, who do we contact about the weeds on PCH?
Yeah.
So
Call
I
me.
said, well, I bring it up just about every month. And then Aracea, I'm wondering, is when I was looking over the park that morning, the lawn bowling area, which is really no longer used for lawn bowling anymore. It was back when we were kids in town, but it seems like people are starting to use that for a secondary dog park. And I don't know what we're going to do with that area or what the rules are if they can't do it. But you know, it's an enclosed area, and before you know it, it's going to be a dirt patch if it's going to turn into another dog park. So I just had that to bring up. And then, since we don't have our own shuttles running anymore, and we're going to be using Swoop, can we not take out those reserved van pool spots up there in the parking? I mean, I park there now because I know the shuttles aren't going to be there, but could we not take those out and restripe them?
Those were actually ground down on Monday and were being measured out, so that's currently, should be completed by the end of this week.
Okay,
So,
good.
yeah, those spots have been repurposed for regular parking.
All right, thank you.
And then also,
How do you make
Julie-
stuff happen that quick, Julie? Wow. You don't even ask and it's done.
Also with the community garden and the lawn bowling area, that is a part of the discussion for the rec park needs assessment. So, ideas for that, those areas will come up.
Okay, thank you. So that's all I have for this meeting.
I'm going to add to that, the Youth Civic Day project they had this year was an assessment of rec park and what from their eyes, would they see improvements. They used the needs assessment data and evaluated that and brought back forward to the council presentation. There were 4 classes that made presentations. So the goal of the needs assessment meeting on the 31st is not just reviewing what you've reviewed, it's bringing it back in some sort of fashion that it's going to include the youth's ideas also, which did include how to address some of those open spaces and or the community gardens and the lawn bowling area. And even if it did get to the point where there's a discussion, a recommendation to take out the old facilities and build one unified larger facility. So all those things at Rec Park are going to come under discussion. So great opportunity to have that discussed further on the 31st of August.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lubes, Dave.
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Vice Chairperson Davis. Lee.
One further comments, Chad, thank you very much for speaking. It is great to hear from the public. We don't get enough of that. And then I do want to thank staff for working on the pool. I've heard a number of things and discussions on what was done, should be done, and how it can be done. You guys are doing a great job. It's very, very difficult. Thank you.
And I have no comments tonight. Nothing. We'll adjourn to the next regular meeting, that's incorrect here. We're not going to do it again. I think we're July 20th. All right, we'll adjourn to July 20th at 6 p.m.